Welcome back. At least one person has died and dozens others injured after clashes broke out between police and residents of a Nile island in Cairo, the Egyptian capital. The Ministry of Interior said in a statement that the fighting started when security forces arrived at Al-Warraq to eradicate encroachment on state-owned land. At least 37 policemen and 19 residents were injured in the clashes. At the burial of the deceased, locally known as Syed Tafsha, angry residents shouted slogans against the police. In May, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi began a campaign to demolish thousands of buildings that were alleged to have been illegally built on state-owned land. A young Gambian migrant, Mustafa, who fled from Gambia to Europe but has returned to deter others from making the dangerous trip. Mustafa has joined an association with other migrants who have traveled through Libya to tell their story in order to prevent young people from attempting to travel through the migration route.
25-year-old Mustafa compiled a list of Gambians who, like him, were detained in Libya as they tried to make it through the deserts to Europe, and is creating a network that discourages youth from making the same dangerous journey.
I'll never redo it. I'll never take this journey. I'll never try back again. Even anybody I know, I'll try and discourage anybody I know, even my enemy, who I'll not advise them to go, because it doesn't work.
Mustafa used smugglers to cross the desert through Niger after his visa to Taiwan to study on a scholarship was denied. Together with his friend Lamin, they are working with youth against irregular migration to warn others of the dangers of illegal migration.
After reaching to Libya, at the first checkpoint, they strip us there, take all our monies, our belongings, our bags, everything. So they put us back to the pickup and say, that's our pay before we enter Libya.
500,000 people have crossed the Mediterranean from Libya to Italy over the past 4 years, mainly sub-Saharan Africans who pay smugglers to shepherd them across the deserts to Libya and onward to Europe in unseaworthy ferries.
You hear gun sounds, you see people being shot, people being beaten, people getting tortured. Every day you see it. I never heard a gun sound until I reached Libya. Here in Gambia, I never had gun sound until Libya. And Libya every day, morning, night, anytime. These heavy weapons, you will hear it like RPG, boom, until the house will be shaking.
According to the International Organization for Migration, at least 20,000 migrants are being detained in Libya, the main gateway for those attempting to reach Europe by sea.
As a teenager growing up in a poor neighborhood, Mbongeni Buthelezi rummaged through garbage dumps for plastics that he could turn into something valuable. Now an established artist in South Africa, he still uses plastic as his medium. Buthelezi's work has been showcased both at home and abroad, and he was recently honored by the prestigious King Abdullah University of Science and Technology for his rare technique.
Johannesburg's Melrose Gallery holds a solo exhibition by South African artist Mbongeni Buthelezi, showcasing the plastic painter's Sugar Tax collection. Sugar Tax questions the prevalence of branded soft drinks that litter the environment and have been blamed for various health problems. By manipulating pieces of recycled plastic with a heat gun and infusing his canvas with watercolors, Buthelezi brings portraits and abstract compositions to life in a style that gives the illusion of an oil painting.
To put up this exhibition is just a way of saying to people, let's talk about this, let's have a dialogue, around all these issues that the government is coming up with. Because, with my work, it is not only, the sugar tax that one is trying to bring up, but also, the environment element, and how my work contributes towards recycling and all these things. I mean, the whole idea is about recycling. But now, if these two things are not properly managed, you know, they might be problematic, you know, to us as a society, you know, because sugar, part of it, if it is not enough or if it is not controlled, properly controlled, it's problematic, and yet my body needs it.
Buthelezi says growing up in a poor background, plastic was readily available and he could easily collect and play around with them. He then discovered his rare technique in his last year of art school in the 1990s as he tried to move away from traditional mediums. About 5,000 pieces of plastic for a single piece of artwork. He wants to draw attention to plastic waste and its effect on the environment, but also uses watercolors to create a well-balanced composition.
I love watercolor, you know, simply because it's a sensitive material. And this is also one of the discussion that we had, you know, with the curator, to say, look, what can one possibly do, you know, to make the exhibition to be even more interesting? And as I indicated to him very clearly that, look, not so many people know that I do watercolors, you know, and it will be very much interesting for me to bring that experience, you know, into this exhibition and make sure that people understand that these plastics are actually informed by watercolor, you know, and it's very clear in this exhibition, because what I've done, I've exhibited a sketch alongside a finished plastic work, and you can just see the you know, the influence, you know, from one technique to the next.
His work is shown locally in other countries, including the United States, Britain and Germany. Some of his pieces sell for up to $15,000 US.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's such an interesting medium that he uses, and I think he really takes something that's considered rubbish, or that is rubbish, and he just turns it into something beautiful. It's a very optimistic thing, you know. It's a very encouraging thing to see.
The work really speaks to me, especially in this era of, you know, let's recycle, let's not waste, and you know, try and clean up the environment. I think this is, yeah, one of the best artworks that I've seen so far, and I think it deserves to be seen across the world in all the art galleries.
Buthelezi was recently presented with an award from the prestigious King Abdullah University of Science and Technology in Saudi Arabia, recognizing him as a pioneer for the use of plastic as a medium.
Now that's creativity. That's Network Africa. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.